What's the most famous plane in Canadian history? The Avro Arrow, of course. I went to the Ontario Science Centre to talk with Walter Stoddard about this fascinating piece of the past.
Hey Cookie fans, Adrianna here, Arts and History host, and I want to talk arts and history with Walter from the Ontario Science Centre. I want to know more about the Avro Arrow because I have recently found out, and seriously, recently, that my grandfather worked on the Avro Arrow. Tell me all about this.
Wow, that's fantastic. Well, we happen to have an Avro Arrow model in our collection, which we proudly display here. And the Avro Arrow, there's a lot of mixed feelings in Canada about the Avro Arrow.
Okay.
At the time, back in the 50s, when it was being put together, it was being built with the latest technology by Avro, one of the, say, the third largest company in Canada at the time, but it was canceled, and so there's no more Avro Arrow.
What?
Yes. And it meant that a lot of jobs were lost, and there was a major change in the landscape of aviation in Canada and in the world.
Wow. So what was so special about this particular aircraft?
Well, it was faster than the speed of sound.
Whoa.
Which is, at the time, was something that was being developed around the world. This was at the time of what we refer to in history as the Cold War. So the superpowers were not at war with each other necessarily, but they were preparing for it. And so there was a lot of posturing going back and forth as to who had the better capability of destroying the other. And that created this stalemate. And so it was referred to as the Cold War. And the interceptor was about intercepting enemy bombers coming over and possibly bombing Canada. And so that was its purpose and design.
Do we have this technology? Like the project was canceled, and I know that there's a lot of controversy about why and how that went down. But do we have this technology today? Like even though it was stopped, did anybody pick that thing up?
Well, the world's moved on.
Right.
And so there are craft today that are of course well beyond the Avro Arrow, not necessarily built by Canadian companies, but they're out there, and so the technology has advanced without the Arrow. The sore spot with Canadians is they would have, those that are feel bad about it, of course, would have liked to have seen that advancement happen on the same day of this test flight of the Avro Arrow. Sputnik goes into orbit, and so the world is looking up into space. Instead of looking at interceptor crafts, we now have to, or at least that's the perception, now we need to worry about spacefaring ballistics. And so that requires a change in technology.
Right.
We're also in a relationship with the American government. NORAD is being drafted. We had a change in our own government, and in the middle of that change, the American government said, we don't want to buy the Avro Arrow after all. So it wasn't just the Cold War anymore. Now it's a space race, right? And so the superpowers are trying to get into space, to claim space for themselves, right? And it's the race to the moon. So what happened was some of those engineers behind the scenes, the brilliant minds working on the Avro Arrow, they went to NASA. Something like 30, maybe 32 is the number of engineers that were working in Great Britain, were working here in Canada, and instead now working on NASA's project to the moon.
Wow. And
so the lunar landing happens with their expertise as part of that package. And it's kind of exciting. And so, some people will point and say, if we had kept that in-house, imagine where Canada would be if that was part of our in-house talent.
Right. And it may not have been just one person's fault. I know that there's a lot of blame in history, and that we look at, his name was Diefenbaker?
Diefenbaker, yeah.
Diefenbaker. There's a lot of blame to that guy.
Newly elected Diefenbaker.
Right.
Yeah.
But it could have been, it's a multitude of things that just kind of crashed in and around the Avro Arrow.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, bad timing.
So not so black and white.
History is all full of changes that when we look backward, we can see paths that perhaps we shouldn't have taken. it's hard to see it in the moment.
Right, absolutely.
Thanks for joining me on this episode of Cranium Cookie. Special thanks to Walter Stoddard for teaching me all about the Avro Arrow and its cool history. If you have a favorite story about the Avro Arrow that you would like to share, please post it in the comments below. I would love to hear them. Thanks for watching, cookies, and until next time, remember to share this cookie with your friends, and keep your brain fed with noms for your noggin. If you like what we're doing on Cranium Cookie and would like our adventures to continue, you can click the PayPal link below to support us.